Mate, dat nou eens. Dit is kakjes. Dat is prima. Zo. Wat wil je verder, man?
Well, hello there. Excuse the sound of the parrot in the background. You do get that. Let me just slow down that for a minute. Look, I want to point to that centre bit there, in between the North Island and South Island, Cook Strait, bottom right. Farewell Spit, the sandy bit to the left. I'm right in the middle, and the currents that go through there are enormous, and you really have to choose your timing and weather windows well to do what I'm going to do today. But don't worry, everything is just fine. It's a perfect day, in fact. I'm going to start out from Whareata Bay there, where I had the night with my friends in the last episode. This episode, Dennis and his yacht Joanna and I are going to go around the top. And he's going to go the inside route there, the roadstead to the left. I'm going to go right around those three islands, the Rangitoto group. And then we're both going to sail beautifully with luck between those, the Stevens Point and Stevens Island. This was going to be a longer video that included fishing, because we're going to go around that point in order to go into Port Hardy, which is a quite sizable and protected, reasonably protected anyway, harbour over there on the right. But anyway, meanwhile I'm racing my friend Dennis. This is Dennis. This is his boat Joanna. He built this himself on the west coast many years ago. He's used it as a tuna fishing boat, and he's one of my favourite individuals. He's inspired me to do many sailing feats, and it made this day even more fantastic. Anyway, just enjoy this bit of sailing. Oh look, water on the floor. You know what that means? That means 6 knots. This is just incredible. This is some of the best sailing conditions. I love the Rangitotos. This is gorgeous. And I'm racing Dennis. Dennis and I are racing to go through around the top between Stevens Island and the Cape. It's just starting to open up through there now. In fact, I can see where I need to go. See if you can see. Yeah, that gap there. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Following sea. Wind up my backside. Wow. Got Dennis over there. So we got someone to race. He'll be motor sailing. He's come up through that current there. I've come around the outside of the Rangitotos. It's just a great day for it. It doesn't get much better than this, actually. It doesn't get much better. Okay, I'd like to interrupt a little bit just to talk a little bit about where we are. D'Urville Island, the north of D'Urville Island. Rangitoto Ke Te Tonga. Right, Rangitoto means red sky, could be fire or sunsets. But we're in between that and Stevens Island, and it is notorious. Just look at that name. It's enough to ski, isn't it? Hell's Gate, Bishop's Cauldron. Those waves there are just stand-up vertical waves that dump on the deck. And further out you get the same thing with whirlpools at quite deep depth, if that makes sense. And it all funnels through this really narrow gap, and there's rocks awash, and oh my word, the fishing is fantastic, but the sea state can be chaotic. 2 to 4 knots of tide backwards and forwards. There's an example of it coming up here if you watch closely there while I'm talking to you. Over to the right-hand side, though, is Stevens Island, and that's called Takapauriwa in Māori. It's got a high point of about 280 metres above sea level. There was a lighthouse there that was operated in 1897, and at the time it was New Zealand's most powerful lighthouse, and it could reach 50 k's. But the island itself, which will appear in a moment, as soon as it does I'll tip you off, is home to tuataras. Now, if you haven't heard of a tuatara, it's like a living dinosaur that dates back to the Triassic period, 250 million years ago. It's kind of proof of Darwinian theory, because it actually survived on that island all on its own, without any human intervention, because the rats couldn't get there. But there are rats now there, but they're trying to control the population. Anyway, these dinosaur things, tuataras, here's a couple. They can live to 80 to 100 years. They've got a third eye. They're just fantastic little creatures. They live in holes in the ground with birds, symbiotically. Here it comes there. You just saw a peek of it there. I'll point it out again when it comes back. Also on the island is a Hamilton's frog, which is an endemic frog species to the island, named after a Mr. Hamilton, strangely enough. It's been a wildlife sanctuary since 1984. There it is, that one there. Anyway, there's that brief little bit of history. The water is crazy out here, absolutely crazy. And it's a really good thing we're there on a good day. You just don't want to be here on a bad day, just mark my words. Hey, seeing as I've got your attention again, and all the video's blurry and there's too much wind noise, I'll just talk instead. Stevens Island, that one there, it was named by Captain Cook, and they changed its beautiful name. It used to be owned by Ngāti Coata iwi, but it was taken by the government to build the said lighthouse in 1891, and the Maoris called it Takapauriwa, which means around the tower. But good old explorer Captain Cook, he renamed it Stevens Island in 1770 after Sir Philip Stevens, who was the Secretary of the Admiralty. Good on him, good on him. And and the tuatara, there's apparently in 2011 there was 30,000 of those tuataras on the island, and of course it was a problem for the frog. Poor old Harold Hamilton's frog was getting predated by them, so they actually had to build a fence to protect the endemic frog from the endemic tuatara. Oh, the irony of it. Anyway, we're coming around the corner of the sisters. I better be quiet. Beautiful. And I think I'm gonna have to do a jibe. I am gonna have to jibe. Yeah. Look at that, 8 knots, 7.8. Yeah, as the caption just said, that's the two sisters, clearly identifiable there. And that's a navigational feature that I slipped in there. But also I want to mention that in a minute I mentioned the fact that I wasn't going to film that jibe that you just saw me perform. It's because I'd completely forgotten that I had a camera running for 20 minutes on the back of the boat, and it captured the whole thing. Anyway. Well, I successfully jibed about. It was reasonably gentle. Didn't want to film it because they can be a bit chaotic sometimes. But success. We are around the point. And there's the sisters in Port Hardy. That was exhilarating. That was exhilarating. It still is. More whirlpools here. It's amazing, it doesn't feel like it, eh? It doesn't feel like it at all. The wind's behind us. So it doesn't feel like we're moving very much at all, and yet we're doing 8 knots. It's remarkable. Hey, I sincerely hope you enjoyed that episode 11. Next episode, we're going to go into Port Hardy and we're going to hide down there in the back corner and go fishing. But if anyone would like to complain about the wind noise, you could always go to my wish list that I've put a link in the description below to, and you could buy me the gear, and then the wind noise will be gone, I promise. I've just caught the biggest snapper I've ever caught in my life.
Nice
Oh, man, mia! I can't believe that. Hey, they're a stalling fish. There'll be another one.